So this is sort of a remake of a video a while ago that I think could have been a bit better, so here's the improved version of that. This video, whatever Arknights tips I can come up with. At least the basic ones, and just for fun we're gonna have a counter on screen so you can see how many simple tips we get to before I run out of ideas and brain power. Don't pour all your resources into one operator. This is a squad-based game after all. For the majority of the stages you'll be facing, it can't be done with just one operator. Every member is essential as they each fulfill a particular role such as healing, taking hits, dealing big damage, and so on. That being said, you also don't want to spread your resources too thin either. You'll run out sooner than you think. Aim for a number you're comfortable with, filling in the most essential roles just to get the squad started, then finishing out the remaining slots eventually. Even better if the operator can fulfill multiple different niches. There are two types of damage your operators will be taking and dishing out, physical and arts. Well, technically there's a couple more, but I won't go into it for simplicity's sake. Physical damage is resisted by the defense stat, while arts damage is resisted by the resistance stat. The way they're calculated is also slightly different. For physical, it's damage minus defense with a minimum of 5% done as total damage, so you aren't just clinking for 0 damage. For arts, damage is reduced by a percentage. If your arts resistance is 40, you will be reducing damage taken by 40%. If you want to know more about the specific subclasses within the overall classes, you can find a brief description if you hit the subclass icon when scrolling through your operators. Their functions can vary quite a bit. For example, here's a core caster, midish tier deployment cost, alright on the attack speed, and attacks a single enemy at a time. Here's a splash caster, higher on the cost, slower on the attack speed, and hits in an area. So just keep an eye on those things as well as the trait descriptions at the bottom right. Unlike many other gacha games, there are plenty of very viable low-rarity operators. Use them, you won't regret it. There are a few exceptions of course, but not only does it cost less to upgrade lower rarity operators, the reduced cost helps you build up your first squad quicker. They won't even be completely useless when you eventually get your higher rarity characters because they can be used in integrated strategies as low cost picks or stationary security service as stacking fodder. And even then, a good number of them will still be useful when you're doing stages normally. While on the gacha games point, I am a bit obligated to talk about your method of acquiring new operators. On the headhunting screen you will be using a limited currency, one you can't just conjure up a lot of. Well, at least if you aren't willfully donating your life savings to Hypergriff. If there's a particular character you're thinking of gambling for, save up! Give yourself the best chance you can. Remember, 99% of gacha gamers quit before they get their wanted characters. Though it doesn't always need to be glorified gambling. You've got a whole shop available to you, and no, I don't mean the part where you spill your wallet out. I am talking about the certificate shop. Lots of useful goodies to purchase here. In the green cert shop, you have your page 1 stuff that you should buy out whenever you get the chance cause it's cheap enough to be worth it, and it also unlocks page 2. The overall cost is higher here, so it's up to you if you want a couple more pulls for extra gambling privileges, recruitment vouchers if you are that desperate for a certain low rarity operator, recruitment permits for extra chances at yellow certificates mostly, and tier 3 materials should you need them. On the yellow certificate shop side, I'll only talk about 2 things you'll probably ever consider. First, you have every gacha addict's favorite thing, more banner pulls. When you purchase one, the next tier will become available. From a yellow cert to headhunting ticket cost, it is most efficient to buy all of them at once if you decide to get it. It's 258 yellow certificates for 38 headhunting permits, so plan accordingly. The other thing you may consider buying are the operators directly listed for purchase. They rotate depending on the current standard and kernel headhunting banners, so if you need a specific operator, there's your option. Last note, both shops refresh when the new month starts. You're likely wondering where you obtain these green and yellow certificates. From rolling for operators. You'll get an amount depending on number of duplicates as well as the rarity, and excess duplicates beyond the potential 6 upgrade can be traded in for more. Other than doing the main gacha for certificates, you also have the recruitment function, and it's where your grey recruitment permits are used. Set a time, use some tags, and wait for the recruitment. The longer the time selected, the higher the chances of your tags not slipping off. The actual operator appearing will vary depending on the tag selected, but particular combinations or single tags will guarantee a 4-star or above if you're lucky enough. The possible recruitment pool does update every once in a while, but there are online resources to help you choose the best tags, which I'll get back to in a bit. Ever found yourself not being able to activate skills at the right time because the game is done in real time? You considered pausing, then selecting the deployed operators for their skill, but you just can't get to their skill prompt. Well, you can, but it needs to be done in the right order. If you want to activate skills at an accuracy you can control, select the operator first and then pause, so you can activate the skill while time is stopped, or resume in that slowed motion to adjust your timing. That is also how you see operators deployed at inhuman speeds during an auto-deploy. Participate in the events, and I don't just mean lol play the game for cool stuff. The event stages generally have a higher material drop rate. Oftentimes, the last 3 stages that drop tier 3 materials will be what you'll farm up after you completed the other relevant stuff. Another thing to clear when you can is the Annihilation mode, every week, cause that is where you'll obtain a large number of your Arundum, your gambling currency, and who doesn't love a bit of that? You might have already figured that out, but you might not know that there is also an auto-sweep function, saving you a ton of time you would be spending waiting for your long auto-deploys to finish. And you definitely do not want to wait through a whopping 400 enemies multiple times every week. That's what this particular daily reward is used for, a quick clear given you have the sanity to spend. There's also an auto-repeat function for normal stages, so set it up, sit back, and let your game farm up materials. It's also worth noting what's not worth farming for, particularly the cargo escort and tactical drill stages. There's clearing it for the first time and a couple times every once in a while when you need it, but according to much of the community, it's just not worth the sanity/energy cost to spend lots of it on. You're usually better off farming for other things. Moving to the base function, you will want to upgrade your base as much as you can as soon as possible, within reason of course, but the base is your source of passive resource generation. A good chunk of your LMD and battle records are produced here, among other miscellaneous things of course, so the sooner you get the production going, the sooner you can get those much needed resources. This next tip is friendship related. It pays to max out your friends list. In a single day you can visit the friends with those orange loading circles for 30 credits up to a total of 300. Extra currency for the credit shop. If you want to be the provider of credits to your friends, just fill out all 7 clues and hit the unlock exchange at the bottom of the reception room in your base. There are plenty of online resources to help you out if there's anything you're unsure of. Here are a few I know of. Ace Ship. Operator data, checking your recruitment tag combinations, game data, among other useful things. Penguin stats. Presented in a clean package, you check out material drop rates and all of that to optimize your farming. Game Press. Similar idea to the other two, but there's also news here. Quick spoiler warning, my favorite part is checking out the CN server event page and taking a look at what news is going on and what events will be coming to the global service, cause we're a few months behind. So bonus tip there for the ones that like to prepare ahead of time, especially if you're aiming for a limited operator. And of course, there's YouTube, the thing you're watching right now, for all your hand-holding needs and mediocre guides, wink wink. Direct links will be in the description, to the websites and not the subscription button to my channel or anything, probably. And for the final and most important beginner's tip, don't let the bad guys reach the blue box, an absolutely essential component to every strategy if you want to win. Alright, that's all the beginner tips I can think of. I'm also purposely leaving the slightly more complex things for a higher level tips video, because this one is for the people getting into the game. As always with these types of videos, there will be stuff I forgot to mention, so stick them in the comments if you feel it's worth mentioning, or if you have questions yourself, ask them in the comments and I am fully willing to answer. That might have been a lot of information, especially if you are new, but I do hope you've discovered something useful to take away from this madness.